Would you like to teach your cat how to press a talking button like my boys Snuggs and Boycat here? Imagine the fun of learning how to do this together and being able to explore the newfound communication opportunities it provides. Keep watching and you'll learn everything you need to know to teach your cat how to press a talking button within 1 hour, spread over a few short training sessions. Welcome to Cats with Matt. If you're new here, I'm Matt, a clinical cat behaviourist and animal trainer. I've trained everything from house cats to cheetahs and many other species for film and TV roles. I even taught a dog how to fly a plane, demonstrating the power of the reward-based training I'll be showing you in this video. You might have seen those videos of cats pressing buttons to talk to their humans. And you might have even bought some buttons and tried modelling the behaviour for your cat, pressing the button, saying the word, then performing the outcome, hoping your cat will take interest and catch on. This is a common recommendation made online, but in my opinion, this isn't the most effective way to teach a cat to press a talking button. Modelling and imitation may play a role in how human babies learn language, but in my experience, cats don't learn behaviours like button pressing very well this way, and it can take them a very long time to understand what's required if they ever learn at all. So if you're struggling to get started with talking buttons, let me show you a better approach, where your cat will learn to press a button consistently after just a handful of short training sessions, with 100% clarity about what the button press means. From here, you'll be able to generalize this knowledge to other buttons with different meanings to build a clear way for your cat to communicate their desires. Now, we're going to teach your cat how to press a button using food rewards and a clicker to help them understand exactly what works. I've got a video I'll link to in the description which runs through the basics of positive reinforcement and clicker training, but the key thing we're trying to achieve is for your cat to learn that standing on a button pays off for them. This is very likely to be many times faster than modelling button presses for your cat and waiting for them to imitate you. Just like it's far quicker to teach a dog or cat to lie down by encouraging them to lie down and then rewarding them when they do, compared to you lying down and hoping they'll copy you. Now, the challenge with button pressing is many cats are unlikely to offer this behaviour naturally. In fact, in my experience, they do everything they can to avoid standing on the weird plastic lump on the ground. So we need to find a way to encourage this behaviour in stages, where they can be rewarded for standing on a large stable object, and once they're doing this consistently, we can reduce the size of the object in achievable steps until we get to the button itself. I'm using Fluent Pet buttons, but I'm not affiliated with the company in any way, and I purchased the buttons myself. I just like the size of them for cats compared to the larger buttons out there. I also like the interlocking mats the buttons can nestle in, as this keeps the buttons stable and in one spot, and will allow me to add buttons in the future in well-defined positions relative to one another. Let's check out the training steps with my two boys. My adopted stray Snuggs here, and my beloved 16-year-old lad, Boycat. I love how Boycat keeps proving you can teach an old cat new tricks. This is my first session with Snuggs here. I thought I'd have a nice big flat bowl with a rubber bottom so it was nice and stable, and I'd lure him on, but he didn't want to have a bar of standing on this thing. So I went with something more attractive, my dog behaviour book, and boom, he was straight up on it. Nice big area, nice and stable, and away we went. This is Boycat, a little bit higher at this stage, up he goes, click and treat, fantastic. And here we are, even higher, click and treat. Now that we had a solid foundation, I decreased the size of what the boys were standing on. Here we have a smaller box, and I was having some nice success with rewarding the boys for standing up on this. Here's an example of what I'd do if one of the boys didn't stand on the box. Boycat here just steps to the side, but I lure him back again for a fresh start, and up he comes, click and treat. Now that we had the boxes down pat, I moved to a round edge plastic container, which the boys were a little bit reluctant to stand on, but with a bit of luring, we got the paw up, click and treat, repeat, and they started to get the hang of it and really like this blue container, linking the feeling of getting their foot up on the blue container and standing on it with the click and treat. Here I want to show you a really important part of the training, which is it's not just about touching the container, it's about putting weight on it, standing up on it. And you can see once Boycat does that, that's when he gets the click and treat. And this is really important for later when we want them to press a button. Here's Snuggs with the new smaller metal container, doing everything he can to avoid standing on it. But we persist, take him back, start again, lure him towards it. There, bingo, we've got one. That's the start, and we can build on that. What's he doing? Up again. Yeah, we're getting there. You can see here that I time my click just as he puts weight on it and lifts his other paw up. Right there, same thing. This is critical for later on. Now, Boycat with the metal tin. The boys were actually within a session of each other. I think overall I took about 6 sessions to train this, and Boycat was probably about half a session behind. But as a 16-and-a-half-year-old boy, he's done so well, hasn't he? Thinking, then that's what pays off. That's what we're after. It's all about getting your paw up on that Boycat and also putting weight on it. That's what earns you the click. Now the next step in the process, a plastic paint test pot, moving down in size, getting closer to what the button will look like. Everybody's going to have different size things. You don't need to use exactly what I've used, of course, because you won't have these items, but this gives you an idea of the types of things you'll look for around your house. And here you go, sometimes transitioning to the next thing. You want to warm a cat up with the thing they've been succeeding with before you then change to something new. So you saw there where we had some nice success with the metal tin, and I actually just swapped in the plastic one straight away, and then we got some success with Boycat. Because sometimes if you just start cold, they look at it and go, what am I meant to do with this? But then once you get a few successful repetitions under your belt, you almost can't stop them standing on the object. And this is the first time Snuggs had even seen a button, and he pressed it straight away. And that's because we've done that foundation work focusing on rewarding the boys for putting weight onto the objects during the training. And then a few more repetitions and rewards to further establish this button pressing before then adding the mat, or the button to the mat. Which means that the button isn't as obvious, and the cats needed to really look for it a little bit more before they pressed it. I then start to move the mat and the button backwards so that Snuggs is actually looking for it rather than just coming to me and then pressing the button at his feet. This was an important stage, almost going back away from me to press the button. Then you really know that they've understood the brief. Look for the button, press that. Fantastic. I just love at this stage of the training how deliberate Snuggs is in looking for the button and pressing it. But here I'd left my clicker on the bench and Snuggs was like, oh, is this the new thing that we press? And I looked around and he was pressing the clicker, assuming it was the next step in the training. But don't worry, Snuggs. You've got there. The button is the final step. You've got it, my boy. When transitioning to the button with Boycat, I needed to warm him up with the paint test pot, swap it out for the button, and then we got some success with that. But again, you get 1 or 2 successes, and then you're away. I just love how deliberate he is here. He looks down, boom, got it. Now we're using the mat, has a wee sniff about. Yep, transition to that no problem. Isn't he doing well? A little bit of an explore with his paws, until he presses it firmly enough to get the sound. And this is the final stages with Boycat's training with the button. Walks straight up to it, knows exactly what he's doing, presses it a few times just to make sure. You've got it, my boy. What a legend you are. I hope you've enjoyed watching Snuggs and Boycat learn to press talking buttons. At the end of this video, I've got a couple of funny outtakes from the training you might enjoy. I hope you're now keen to get training with your furry friend. Now you're equipped with the knowledge to take the frustration out of button training. Grab a clicker, stock up on treats, and get training. I'd love to hear how you get on with your cat. How long did it take? And did you encounter any challenges? Once I've completed the next train behaviour with my boys, I'll upload the video and pop it up here. Also, if you'd like to see more cat training and behaviour videos, hit like and subscribe. It really helps. Right. I'll see you in the comments. You all done? Are you all done? No. You want to try one more? Yes.